Good evening, everyone, and welcome to round two of the 2013 LFSCART Series. It is the English Grand Prix from Blackwood Grand Prix, the oldest and the best known track to everyone in Live for Speed. It is the 18th of May 2013. Jonathan Palmer along with Dominik Engel here for this second round, and Dom, we had a pretty good round one. Exciting last couple laps after a safety car restart. Last lap, last half lap pass for the win.
Yeah, that really went down to tires pretty much strategy. With Ilaria Sela really being caught out there by not changing tires during his mandatory pit stop after having an absolutely ginormous lead, actually. So yeah, that basically was his to lose, and well, he did pretty well doing so, actually.
Both the drivers involved in that lead battle not here. One of the drivers that was in the top three, Jesse Telkola, finished third round one, is here. He's starting second today. Had about 25, 26 cars round one. Only 17 here, so unfortunate drop off in participation, but it's a short track, so I'm sure having a little bit less traffic, the drivers aren't going to mind that.
The traffic's actually not such a big issue here. The track's rather forgiving. You can basically do the whole back straight till the last corner side by side, and then the bit between the last corner and the first chicane side by side. So there's no shortage of opportunities to get by someone. But yeah, certainly should be a good race. Short tracks always produce close racing, so I don't think today will be an exception.
What overtaking areas have we got on this track? It's a lot of turns. Well, a lot of the 2 mile lap are corners. It's only really 8 turns by the numbers, but we've got that long backstretch and a fairly long pit straight. So are we looking at turn 1 and then turn 4 at the end of the backstretch? Are those really the only good overtaking spots here?
Well, they're the easiest ones, but you can also overtake into the corner right before split two and the corner right after split two if you do it right, or if the guy in front of you makes a mistake. There are really only two no-go places, and it's the final turn and the chicane where you really need to be bang on the line, otherwise you wash out wide, which, well, especially in the chicane would have disastrous consequences, because that will see you running through all the tire stacks that have been nicely placed there by the left. And that for sure wouldn't be very productive for the remainder of your race.
Taking a look at the schedule for this season, we're going to have 76 racing laps after one formation lap here. 2 weeks time we go to West Hill International, which is always a challenging track, and track map on the right half screen, as you see start finish line, downhill front straight, curving start. So with the standing start, half the part of the grid will be uphill, the other part downhill, some on the top, and still a slight bend. What sort of complications does that introduce?
If you're further back on the grid and you're having to start uphill, of course you have to be a lot more careful with the throttle. You will find you'll have a lot of you'll have a somewhat harder time finding the traction and finding the point, the tires bite, and the ideal revs to get off the line, ideal throttle. If you're starting downhill, that's certainly a lot easier. Concerning the dipper before you go uphill towards the turn one, well, it's nothing big. Obviously, being an uphill braking zone, you can brake relatively late, which can also catch you out pretty badly if you get it wrong. But unless someone's got his car set up really low, which means he could maybe bottom out on the start of the uphill part, I don't see many issues if everyone keeps their head in turn one. we should have a clean first lap. The chicane is going to be probably the decider. I really hope no one tries to go into there side by side.
Alrighty, so as we get ready for the start, quick look at the grid. On pole, Team Fire is Artu Yilostallo, Jesse Telkula second, Jarl Tyan third, fourth Robin Heiderman, fifth Yanni Vahakupis, Torsten Ulrich for Race Green Autosports sixth, Tony Latinmaki seventh, eighth Raymond Blauhoff, ninth Thomas Karani, 10th Nathan Lamont, 11th Yaroslav Danilik, Matthias Pipleka, 12th Ray Kingsbury, 13th for Last Lap Motorsports, Ronnie Krampusch, Race Green Autosports 14th, 15th Jurek Kagash, Arjun Singh 16th, and starting pit lane for not taking part in qualifying, Genuine Racing's Krasimir Ivanov. So we'll do a formation lap. They'll return to the grid. Wait. All five lights will come on 1 second at a time. Then after a 2 to 5 second pause, the lights will go off and we'll be away, Dom.
Yeah, indeed. And then it's 76 laps of Blackwood. And, well, that can be quite a long time, can be quite a short time. It depends on what situation you're in. If you're in the pack, then it probably is going to be a not so delightful the first few laps or first, let's say, third of the race. If you're out in front, probably the end will be more difficult for you than anything. But, well, we will see. Last time it looked like it's gonna be straightforward, and it wasn't, so maybe it's not gonna be this, not gonna happen here either.
So Yellowstone is ahead in the first position.
Yeah, the first row here is, well, you know, really a big advantage. The more downhill your starting position is, the easier it is to get off the line. And obviously pole is the position that's the furthest downhill. Telkula and Tyan should also be within a shot if they get the start right, or if they even get a better start than their competitors.
Rear of the grid is in formation. Apparently a couple of cars still moving, so start signal shall be triggered momentarily. There'll be a 5-second advance alert given. So, here we go. 1 light, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause, pause, pause. Go! Away we go. Great start, Yellowstone. Great start behind for Tyan. And Telkula having a good start as we come charging down to turn number 1. Contact between Blauhoff and Vahokapis. Everyone looks to be cleanly through turn 1 so far.
Ooh, Tyan is going to get a run of Telkula down the back straight. Easy slipstream move. He's going to try it around the outside. Ooh, and he's passed and Telkula tries to get back. And he's on the inside. But Tyan looks like he's going to get round. All the pretty cold tires at the moment, so not the best of grip levels for most drivers here.
With a short lap, it's kind of hard to get enough speed, and when you get the short lap, you don't have that much speed. Speed is what gets the heat in the tires here. Fast scrubbing.
The tyre heat isn't so much the problem, it's just sitting on the grid part where you lose the core temperature of the tyre, the gas in it cools down. And that's a much bigger problem than the surface temperature because it completely changes the balance of the car. And to cope with that in the first, let's say, 4 or 5 laps at least, because that's when the effects are going to be worst, then it takes something, you know. It's some probably even have to practice it. I certainly always did try to adjust myself to what happens if the car doesn't turn in properly, what happens when the car always loses the rear out of the corners, and well, it's certainly made a big factor here around the traction track.
And excuse me, but Jesse Telkola is lagging in the final corner. He comes back.
His car's still warping around a bit.
Yep, and he had contact with Latin Mackie there.
Again.
Or forgive me, actually, Latin Mackie and Ulrich blocked a bit by Latin Mackie. To the inside, Ulrich goes. Or no, Ulrich's still behind. Ulrich in the car with the orangish engine cover. Latin Mackie in the predominantly white car up ahead. And we have a problem in turn 4. Singh is off.
He's already back going.
Ulrich again, now to the outside of Latin Mackie into turn 1.
It's really hard to pass around the outside. You have to be ahead, otherwise it doesn't really work. Because, wow, and you almost lost him for chicane there. But yeah, if you're trying to pass around the outside in turn 1, it's much harder. You have to have proper overlap, otherwise the guy on the inside can just run the corner wide and push you out.
Telkola, a huge slipstream run and around the outside at turn 4 around tie-in. So position change for 2nd position. And while these two battle, it is allowing Yellowstallow to break into a lead.
That's probably the ideal scenario that he thought of before the race, because there's nothing better than if two battle behind you, because you're just going to pull away massively alone in this lap. They've lost probably a second close to, well, Tyan did at least. Telkola just did his personal best and the fastest lap for that fact.
In the mid-pack, 7th, 8th, and 9th, Karani being chased by Vahakovas. And just behind is Raymond Blauhoff. So 3-car battle, and looks like Blauhoff has the draft on Vahakovas. Around the left-hand side outside for turn 4. Will he stay clear? Drives a little wide, but he does clear Vahakovas. Yesterday we had an incident with, in the later stage of the race, with cars side by side going through the other car inside. Usually, if you stay side by side, the car inside usually stays wide, and that means the outside car could get shoved off.
Well, yeah, but then that's really, that's something on a respect level. You have to respect the limits of your car and the limits of your track and the opponents on either end of your car, whether it be front, rear, right, left, whatever. And if you shove off someone off the track, it mostly isn't gonna be resulting in him sending you Christmas cards. So
Blauhoff now comes to the inside of Karani down the back straight. In the draft, they'll stay side by side. Karani braking early or Blauhoff braking late. And Blauhoff makes it look easy.
That was a textbook maneuver, draft, get overlap inside, and then brake it in on braking point, just take the corner. expect Lau. I personally expect Lau to move forward from where he is. Knowing him, he's certainly one of the better drivers in LFS.
Careening out,
at least.
And Bahakov is coming now around the outside of Karani at turn 1. Not completing the pass before the chicane. Just a little bit of contact. But Bahakov has inside for the majority apex of the corner and comes out ahead. Krasmir Ivanov is up to 12th position after starting from the pit lane.
Not a bad thing. It's probably better than starting last because you don't get slowed up by the gaggle of cars right in front of you so much. You can just use the fact that the cars are just a little bit more spread out once you get to them, and then pass them much easier.
Ray Kingsbury and Strife, turn 5. You know, you can't really accelerate these cars while you're trying to turn. You can't go from a stop to turn, you know, trying accelerating on a corner with... They've got so much horsepower, no traction control or anything, you can spin the rear wheels easily, can't you?
Well, certainly in tracks, in corners like turn 1, you really have to be gentle on the power, maybe even short shift into the chicane. The third gear corners actually, if you practice and set your car properly, you've got a lot of traction there. And that makes it quite easy. Almost all corners here, except for turn 1, are third gear corners, and a lot of them are cambered or fall away to the inside as well, so that makes it somewhat easier to find the grip there. But generally, yeah, it's certainly not the easiest car to drive at low speeds when, well, the aero does basically nothing and the car relies on basically no mechanical grip.
Watching on board the leader, Stalo, as he heads down the back straight. The back stretch here is really the only time you can have a chance to relax. Turn 4 here. Once you get from about turn 4 through the chicane, you're pretty much constantly having to turn or do some sort of work. The back straight is about the only time where you can have a think or a rest.
Yeah, the back straight's also the way you wish to have much lower downforce than for the rest of the track. Because really the track isn't actually that low downforce, even though it has 2 so long straights. It's still running roughly, I don't know, 50 to maybe 65% of the downforce level you have available in that car. So it's certainly nowhere near its actual top speed down the straights here. At least not for most people. Unless someone goes with a really low downforce setup.
Karani and Dominik just had a coming together in turn 5. Looked like Karani had a spin. Dominik had nowhere to go. Dominik getting around Karani.
Also got boiling hot. He's on R2. What is that all about? Those tires are never gonna work in this car on this track. Well, on any track actually. We're gonna have to come in and switch to R3 if he wants to have any chance of finishing this race without crashing 20 times.
Tyan closing in on Telkala again. Don't forget there is a compulsory pit stop required in the LFSCART Series. Telkala getting it all wrong coming out of the chicane. Arox will get him early in the lap. Telkala hitting the curbs wrong, as is easily done at the chicane.
I think he's lifting. He doesn't want to pass him so soon. And now Telkala is probably gonna keep the position because he lifted way too much. to get up to speed aero drag of these cars is quite significant, so just by lifting off the throttle you can lose 10 to 20 kph.
Yeah, that was promulgated by Telpula, making a mistake coming through the chicane. Easy to do, it'll happen 5, 6, 7 more times to you during the race just because the way the chicane is. Now Tyan gonna try for a run into turn 1, dives it up the inside, but he overshoots it by a mile. Overshoots the apex by a mile. Telkula around. Latinmaki catching from behind.
But he got the chicane all wrong, so he's not going to be on his tail as of now. Telkula's got the chicane well right, certainly enough to keep Tyan out of his slipstream this time round at least.
Track are preceded by tricky corners. The back straight by the chicane, and the pit straight by this turn, turn 8. You can clip that inside curb wrong and run wide to the outside, or just overshoot it and run wide to the outside. And that outside curb at the final corner, that can really upset you. It's a very high curb.
The outside curve isn't actually so bad. You can easily slide on top of it. Inside curve's much worse, because if you hit that at all, it's gonna completely ruin the entry to your corner and the exit, and basically gonna compromise 2 laps, not just 1.
So things holding station this last lap between Tyan and Telkula. Lostallo getting into the first bit of lapping traffic. He'll be lapping Mr. Ray Kingsbury.
Certainly not the most surprising thing I've ever seen from a race where someone had a spin right at right in the first bit of it, and then spent his time not knowing which way to go. Oh, Latinmaki and Ulrich are side by side down the front stretch, and they're very, very close to each other going into turn 1. Latinmaki is in front still, or did he overtake? No, wait, he was still in front, but he's gonna get slipstreamed by Ulrich just now.
And Tyan.
Whoa! He's going onto the grass on the inside of the straight. They actually made contact there twice. 3 times now, that's just unnecessary. Leave each other room, guys. But I don't know what they're thinking really, because there's no reason to bang wheels in these cars, especially not on a bloody straight.
And up ahead, Tyan has gotten around Telkula using the long back straight to slipstream all the way up. So Tyan now going to try to get around, and Ulrich going to try to see what he can do with Telkula. Tyan to get around Ray Kingsbury here in turn 1. Telkula staying with him barely, but not able to go as wide as he'd have liked on the apex.
Oh, and you really compromised Ulrich there. I think they almost crashed into each other exiting the chicane. What on earth is Ray Kings doing? What on earth is he doing? He's blocked him, and now he's run into the back of him. What on earth is he doing? Once again. It looked like
he was getting a draft from Ulrich, and it was as if Ray was going to overtake, and Ulrich pulled left in front of him.
Understandably, I think that he tried to signalize him, dude, don't pass me, I'm trying to chase someone down here, and well, if you're that far back that early in the race, you really shouldn't be trying to get people's drafts and pulling alongside them, to be honest.
Eiserman off at the top of pit straight.
Looks like, judging from the skip mark, that he got the grass on the right curb and just spun clean off. Didn't get any damage from it, luckily, but yeah, that's probably a few flat spots on the tires and a lot of positions lost.
Battle perhaps for 6th. Raymond Blauhoff all the way to the grass to try and defend as Lahakimus tries to chase him down the back streets. I think just a little too far back to get that could be worth a lunge here into turn 4. He does.
Oh, and
does
he's
he
round the
overcook it?
outside.
He keeps it. Fantastic.
Wow, that's really, well, that was really shocking. More not in the sense of what parts happened, but of how slow Val was down the straight. He was barely doing 270.
Was Blauhoff anticipating an overshoot by Kart 37 and that he would be able to just sneak by on the inside? He didn't want to go too deep and risk a collision.
I don't think he saw that coming at all. I think he just tried to hang on the inside of the corner and expected to, well, keep that position for that lap at least. But if you're going to be that slow down the straight, you're always going to be vulnerable.
Race order after 16 racing laps complete. Ivo Stala with about a 4-second lead over Tyan. Telkula 3rd. Ulrich 4th. 5th. Latinmaki. It's your top 5. Previous Kyoto 500 champion Robin Heiderman 8th. Pit lane starter Krasimir Ivanov has worked his way up to 10th. And two cars a lap or more down, excuse me. Ray Kingsbury and Pipelka. And I think, Dom, Telkula is slowly catching Tyan again. Well, he was a little bit ago.
I think they're just making mistakes. One time one makes a mistake, next time the other makes a mistake, because while they're catching each other, while being either in front or behind, they don't lose the people behind them, because they're just holding each other up. And basically that 4-car group does the same pace anyways. I mean, all of them on the last lap did a turn 102.6.
Oh, I just had a look at tires for these 4 that are kind of in range of each other. And Ulrich, right rear tire, looking just a little toasty.
Oh, and Telkul is spun off on the grass. He spun clean round there in the last corner. Didn't hit anything, but well, got a slightly toasty left rear tyre now. It's baking away the surface there, but certainly lost a lot less than Heidemann did, doing the same thing actually. I think he was a lot luckier in the way he got it turned round as he was still spinning, so he could just drive straight off. And only lost like a second.
The camera operator's luck, just happening to be on the car that spins while he spins. So that whole bit live. Looks like Latinmaki is reeling in Ulrich again.
Certainly looks the way, not surprising considering what rear tyres Ulrich's got. They're a bit warm, his fronts are a bit cold. Although I have to say Latinmaki's tyres look relatively cold as well. He's got a lot of pressure in those.
Telkula spinning again at turn 8.
Got it straightened up again, and now he's going to be, well, he's probably going to be dived on by the 37. No, not quite, even though he's defending, well, I'm not sure what, probably air. Very Corp was getting very bad exit on the through the chicane. Really hitting the curb in the worst possible angle.
Still had a half second at the split over Telkula.
It's not surprising when the guy in front has just had the second spin in a row.
Yep.
So the left rear tire also somewhat beyond the optimum temperature.
Robin Heiserman also looking like he's trying to chase Blauhoff back down.
I think he should get that position back. He was easily in front of him before his spin, so it's just a matter of getting the right moment and passing him. We know that, oh, it's the same phenomenon again. Blauhoff is incredibly slow on the straights. He's probably running a lot of wing on, well, he's for sure running a lot of wing on that car. There's no other way he could be slow on the straight unless he's already toasted his engine, and judging from his gearing, that's certainly made for the top speed he's running. Got a bit loose there, Robin. Don't want to do that too often. That's probably the same way the last spin started. Doesn't look like Lettermack can make too much of an impression on Ulrich third now. The gap's relatively steady. Ulrich's done a rather good job of, well, actually I was going to say he's done a rather good job of putting his rear tyres down. Just in a second it updated, and they are the same as they were like 4 laps ago. But he's just done his personal best lap to a 2:52.
Heiserman off at turn 7.
Oh my god, Ray Kings! Oh, getting caught out there.
And Heiserman now taking the chance to come in for his compulsory pit stop.
I think he's going to get rid of those toasted tyres.
Do you think that tires are going to be a necessity this race now?
Wear-wise, I suppose not, but I think it's just the same problem as last round. They hit the cliff, and if there's a late race safety car, you're pretty much done for the day.
If there is a late race safety car, anything to gain, anything to lose by jumping in for a fresh set of boots?
You can only lose here. There are no high-speed corners. It's all about turning, mid-corner speed, and traction. If you don't have those, which you won't have with old tires, then you're just waiting to be overtaken. There's no way you can keep position against someone who's got perfectly fresh tires that are bright green on the surface and have lots of tread to put heat in them.
So what your plan would be is, if late race safety car, pit, get tires.
Pit as soon as possible, get the tires on, get out there, heat them up like a wannabe world champion, and then try and make gains on the restarts. You don't get anything from feeling sorry after the race for not having changed tires.
Last round, the top two, neither of them had changed tires at that point, or during that late race safety car. Crazy spun, got it just outside the grass screen, exiting turn 4. Drops back from Nathan, but he looks like he'll stay ahead of Dominik by a little bit. No position loss for Crazy.
He's completely baked his left rear though. I'm not sure he's going to go on with that. It could be that he's going to come in too. And yeah, he does come in.
Working the 24th lap of 70, or 25 of 77 for Crazy.
I think it's probably like if you would start light on fuel and you were gonna do a light start, that's probably the last lap. I would say it's a light strategy that even remotely makes sense, Because if you're doing more than a third of the race, and you're doing 50-50, you're just throwing it away. There's only one way, in my opinion, that the race should be done, and that's stay on one set of tires as long as possible, unless there's a safety car.
Crazy coming out just ahead of Pipekla, but not
Actually another lap
position
down.
with that car. Yeah, he is a lap down. Even off 1 lap down. Pipekla 2 down, just behind those 2 cars. Ulrich and Latinmaki, so depending on how they get through traffic, could influence this battle.
Certainly could, but it looks like Uri can defend himself. So,
And
Latinmaki is pitting. He's pitting. How would he want to change tyres if he's pitting this early? Because they're in fine shape.
But he does. So 4 fresh tires for Latinmaki.
Well, maybe he did run a bit lighter. Who knows? Certainly it's gonna be the last, as I said, I think strategically the last bit where it would make sense to pit if you've done a light start. Comes out in what effectively is going to be 9th position. Well, not effectively, but for now it's going to be 9th position at least.
Isn't this a bit of a tricky pit exit? You're coming around the outside, you don't get to see any cars alongside you until very late. Flat to come around the corner. Kind of easy to run a little too wide, isn't it?
Certainly is in some of the cars that downforce. This is actually okay because you're arriving at a quite decent speed. You're getting some air flowing over those wings, and usually you get enough pressure to just keep you in line, even if you've got fresh boots. So it's not too bad. The risky bit is more rejoining the track and not running into someone who's already there, which is, well, I haven't seen it I haven't seen it more frequently anywhere else other than Blackwood, really. It doesn't matter which way you drive it, it always happens.
Pit entry, pretty uphill, blind entry, sort of blind entry. Pretty easy to run just a little too wide and clip that little bit of grass.
Well, it's pretty much the same for the entry as for the exit. You have, well, some decent speed, and unless you're trying to go there flat out, which I don't even remember if it's possible. I don't think so. It should be fine. The problem would be more if this was BR1R and the entry was the exit, because then the exit is off camber and then you really don't have a lot of grip.
Back to our leader, Stella, who's just completed the 30th in-game lap. That's the 29th officially scored lap. Coming up to lap Thomas Careni for our force. So if without a safety car, without any issues, Stella looks like to have a pretty quiet race so far. I just heard the admin talking about it, so we'll have a mention and a bit crack about it, Dom. Nathan Lamont doing pretty good in 7th. He's been doing LFSCART since about season 2 or 3, and I think he's a driver that it's safe to say has improved massively in his time in leagues in Lift for Speed overall.
Well, certainly, because I think my first memory of Nathan Lamoth in LFSCART is that he flipped on KY2R, which I think is quite an achievement in itself, in a negative way. So, seeing as he's 7th now, he certainly has improved quite a lot.
That was, I believe, in the oval section, oval turn 1.
Yes, it was on the pit exit.
I believe it was coming together with another car.
Jack Sedgwick knowing about how to flip anything. I still remember this fantastic LFSCART light race on FE4 where Jack Sedgwick passed me and drove away a couple of seconds so far away that I couldn't see him right in front of me on the short straightaways on FE4, and suddenly I see a safety car deployed and I wonder why, and suddenly I see a green and white Fox upside down in a corner where it's actually impossible to roll over.
What corner was that?
It was the corner rejoining FE3, the one that hasn't got any curb on the inside whatsoever.
Oh yeah, the one...
And he rolled on that. Well,
Oh,
not a curb
dear.
that you would roll on usually. But he managed it anyways. I think I almost hit him if I'm wrong. But no, it's been quite some time. That's already 3 years ago.
Torsten Ulrich has just reset fastest lap 2 times in a row. First time he reset it 1:02.08, and his most recent time 5/100ths of a second faster, 1:02.03.
Looking at his rear tires, they were very hot earlier, but they're gonna be nice and sticky now. Green all the way through. Green, even the air on the inside is up to optimum temperature, optimum pressure. So that car at the moment is probably going along very nicely, and he is.
Hydrament.
If I'm seeing
Hydrament
it
to
right,
the inside of
catching up.
Latin Mackey on turn 1, 4 position.
But
A little
it's
bit of
very close
contact
to them
in
punching.
turn 1, yes. They did have contact in turn 1. Hydrament just sticking in the draft, backing off to stay behind, not overtake yet. Goes back full throttle now, gets the draft, comes to the left side, outside for turn 5, or turn 4, excuse me. He'll complete it. It looks like he'll keep the position over Ladinmäki. Both of those drivers having made their compulsory pit stop, so provided no interference from a safety car or other things, Kareniov coming out of turn 4, ostensibly getting it wrong
and he,
on the
he's
exit.
still on R2 tires. I really don't understand why you would be on R2 tires in this car ever. Because they just simply don't work unless you're Simon Cattell and you don't have the chicane on this track. And even then I still beat his fastest lap. Hi Simon. Yeah, he's really struggling with that car. I think he should really get some different tyre compounds on that thing, because it's really not nice to watch, especially if he keeps spinning. Those tyres are going to rocket up in temperature, and if he locks them up while braking during a spin, it's much easier to pop one of those tyres, because well, through flat spots you take off a lot more tread than you would with any other compound in LFS.
Ray Kingsbury off in turn 6, apparently just in front of Robin. Ray Kingsbury's tires looking a little chilled. Oh, and he hits Ulrich!
What on earth is he doing? Seriously?
Could that have been because Ray was slow and Ulrich didn't recognize it in time?
I think you should have let him pass before the corner and not sat on the racing line, frankly. It was clearly easy to see that he wasn't in his rhythm. Ulrich probably knew that, but I bet he didn't see that one coming. I almost made him throw the car into the wall.
Ray nearly putting it off again. On the grass, and now sliding through. Got Jesse Telkla coming up behind.
He's off again, Ray Kings. Not really sure what he's doing, because he's going to the pits now. Well, we can only hope he's going to fix things. Yeah, up until that almost massive off, Ulrich, I think, was catching Tyan for a few laps, which after that and a somewhat unfortunate line through the chicane from Ulrich just now has pretty much lost itself.
A little bit of damper damage on the rear and the right front of Ulrich's Formula V8 car.
It's on all the cars actually. If you cut over the sausage curb or whatever you want to call it, and Ulrich just spun in turn in the penultimate corner, and he's gonna pit instantly because those tires are no good for anymore. Just as I was switching to him, I saw a very funnily coloured F08 going around and round, and well. He joins in 6th place, which, if I'm not wrong, I'm not sure which place that effectively is, because
he almost
also spread
spun
out.
it on the grass on the outside of turn 1, coming out of the pit lane. Just ahead of Nathan Lamont, he comes out. Cars that are yet to pit. Our leader, Ilostalo, so leaders, top 5, current top 5 have not pitted yet. So that's Ilostalo, Tyan, Telkla, Vahalkrbus, and Blauhoff. Ulrich is the first of the cars that have made a pit stop. Also, Nathan and Yaroslav have not pitted. Karani also yet to pit. So too Kagash.
Well, I'm actually surprised by all those early pit stops being caused by mistakes. But usually those are, well, they're easy mistakes to make around here, but then you should be able to iron out those mistakes with proper preparation, and it doesn't look like, well, I'll carefully put it, that everyone in the field is properly prepared, as Tyan asks for a perm haircut.
Let's see. Yeah, that was Latimaki was ahead of Tyan. Tyan went a little wide at the final corner. I wonder if that was Tyan asking or going to complain about Latimaki. I looked at it a little too late, didn't really quite see. Tyan may be thinking that he was kind of mucked around a bit by the lapped car, the blue flagged car.
If I'm not wrong, the blue flag rules are the same as in endurance racing, that you have to pass, and if you don't pass, you don't get to pass.
Exactly, yeah. The blue flag rules usually in NDR are of the type where the blue flagged car can run their race. They only have to yield to a properly presented overtaking maneuver. And even in a case like that, where Latimaki is only getting blue flag because he's made a pit stop and Tyan hasn't, the blue flag rules are usually a lot more lax.
Then there's, of course, the other side of the fence, which is the sportsmanlike approach to it, which is let the loony go and don't cost yourself time. which is personally my preferred option. I would never have blocked someone on the blue flag, and I think a lot of others haven't either. So maybe you should have let him go. Probably would have been a wiser thing to do instead of holding each other up, because no matter, even if the person behind doesn't actively try to pass, just his presence is a distraction. Oh, and Coreni's got a right rear puncture. How did he manage that? Actually,
That's
I have
very thin.
I have a good idea how he managed that, by what I said. By spinning and putting lots of flat spots on the tires. Oh my god.
And if he wasn't careful, he could have gotten stuck in that penultimate corner gravel trap, but he's now in the pit lane, so he is safely now in the pit lane, so he'll be in for a stop.
Let's hope he puts on a set of R3s, and no. I really don't understand why you would get the idea to run this race on R2s, or any kind of long run in F08 here, because it frankly doesn't work.
Tying with a 13.7 second lead over Telkola. Ilostalo 7.5 seconds ahead of Tyan now, about halfway through the race.
There's certainly very big gaps between the cars. Some due to pit stops, some due to pace, mistakes, incidents, whatever you want to call it. But it looks more like a mini endurance race at the moment rather than a 75-minute sprint.
Tying about a tenth faster that last lap than Ilostalo. Gap still though holding about 7.5. Tyan gonna have to get around Heischerman. Carani back in the pits.
Let's hope he switches to R3s this time. And no.
So, but somehow he got that right rear.
That's a bug.
Yeah, it did
But
kind of
just
back then. Oh, maybe he had a fuel shortage.
He's parking way too long for fuel shortage. He's got if that was fuel shortage, he would have enough fuel for the next 4 rounds.
Maybe he stopped for
probably
some other reason.
I'm pretty sure it was a damage trip, judging from the length of the pit stop.
That could be. Ilostalo first to break, or actually, well, was the first to break into the 101s in the race. 101.8, and now he's set a 101.68 fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, he's comfortably leading out front, really, with no one to challenge him anywhere close. It's probably nice to not have to look into the mirror. And his tires are pretty nice. Usual Blackwood thing of having 4 different wear rates on 4 different tires.
Carani spun again at turn 4. 1 lapped car currently between the top 2, so if there's a safety car and not much changed, wouldn't be that much separating the top 2 for a restart. And we all know how restarts can go, especially at a tight track like this. Carani into the pits for the 3rd time in as many laps. Dominik also getting it wrong out
off
at
in
turn 4.
Yeah, also put the wheel off.
It's incredibly easy to do.
love how he actually, for the race admin system, he caused 6 yellow flags by causing, in reality, 1 yellow flag.
That's all in the LFS, how LFS triggers them. Craney has pulled into a box and retired. So he's had quite enough.
And just in that moment, Ray Kings is back again in the second chicane. Not where he's meant to be. It's somewhere off the track causing a yellow flag.
Our leader in the pits. Our leader is in the pits.
Means Tyan becomes the leader, for now at least.
A little bit of time to be made up or lost in the pit lane here, of course. And depending on what service you take.
Well, Ilastalo is at least a lot less vulnerable than Yusela was last round, because he did indeed change his tires. Which is, I think it's still rather early stop. I'm surprised not more people are going for longer. Because, well, it's really the opposite of what I was used to the last 3 years. Everyone pitting as late as possible.
Coming up on 30 laps to go. Tyan carries on for at least another lap. Costello dropping back to third.
Telkele has also not been in yet. All of the top 3 have actually got very decent fast laps. So pace certainly isn't a problem for any of the drivers that were behind Ilastalo before the pit stop.
Been racing for a little under an hour. Actually, just over 50 minutes, and you're watching round 2 of the LFSCART Series 2013. Jonathan Palmer and Dominik Engel with you. Telkele into the pits now. Tyan going to go at least another lap or 2.
Very
Yostel
good
will
tread
easily
on his
get
tires.
Telkele.
He also changes, so usual pattern of tire changes is back. Maybe some people watched what no tire changes did with the last few laps of the first race. He comes out right behind Kagash. Time's still out there, consistently lapping in the 101.8s. He's really always, well, at least in the 3 laps I've seen lately, been within a tenth of his personal best. Verkoop in the pits, and Kagash is causing a flag.
Clouts the wall on the outside of turn 5. Not much damage though.
I think that's already enough to upset the car. He's got toe damage, and now on the left rear on a track that's, well, made up from right-handers exclusively, basically. That car will not be handling the way he wants it to anymore.
flips yet, no entrapments in beaches, especially that vast gravel trap outside of turn number 4.
Usually you get out of that one much easier than the one on the penultimate corner.
The world's smallest gravel trap here at Blackwood on the outside of the entry to the final corner can occasionally claim someone. It's small, but for some reason it seems extremely hard to get one of these Formula V8s out of that gravel trap.
It's because that it has no camber, it's completely flat, so it doesn't fall away to one side where you could gain some momentum to get out there, so it's really like, I don't know, someone pulled the handbrake when you're in there, you just can't get away.
Tyne very close to being disastrously mucked about by Kagash. Tyne closed in through the chicane. Kagash nearly got the chicane wrong right in front of Tyne. Fortunately, no significant strife to that end.
There's always some risk of that. The chicane is probably I think easily the hardest corner on this track, these cars. Especially because there's so little weight behind them. If you don't have the speed and downforce and traction, which if you're jumping over curbs at not too high speed, you don't, then you're not going to have an easy time, especially when you're trying to follow another car. Going through there in a GTR is, while not faster, it's much more settled because it weighs twice as much almost. And has wider tires. On the front at least.
Kagash having a bit of a spin at the chicane, it seems.
Yeah, I only saw how he pulled away from it. I didn't see how it happened exactly.
Tyne carrying on late in. Good draft around Krampus. Krampus yields.
Kagash is also back into the pit lane, obviously not happy with that damage he sustained in his off during his off in turn 5. There we go, car pops back into the shape it's meant to be in. Before it hits anything, or I don't know, something falls on top of it. Like a piano, for example. Tyne's still out in front actually, still on his original set of tires and his original load of fuel. Just did his PB lap.
Your comment about the piano has been taken humorously in the control tower, I hear in my ear, Dom.
Battle between Ulrich and Dominik. Oh, don't push each other on the grass, guys. Seems like
Not
Ulrich
for position. Dominik lap or 2 down.
Well, then I don't really understand why there was so much of a fight.
Oh, Kagash off in the final corner, or in the penultimate corner. He's got the.
He's gonna get out of there easy. Gonna get out of there easy. There we go.
He gets off, luckily a little bit of extra runoff, so
pluck the hole in the
safe.
boat.
He'll
Didn't
pull
sink.
into the pits though.
Oh,
How many spins coming into pit lane?
Oh,
Tyne is
God.
in the pit lane also.
I haven't seen many cars in LFSCART come up the pit lane first. So this is not something I see regularly.
Tyan is exiting the pit lane now. We see him, Stallo,
Oh,
coming
it's
up
going
the
to be
hill.
very close. It's gonna
Yes,
be...
across the start
Tyan's
finish
gonna have
line
it.
now.
Tyan's going to have it, I think.
Is. Stallo only now braking, and
There we
Tyan
go,
has
Tyan's
taken
already...
the lead.
He's already out of
Jarl
trouble.
Tyan.
How did he do that? Well, actually, how did he do that? Quite easy to answer, because he ran at his best possible pace for like 15 laps in a row.
He did a Michael Schumacher.
No, he didn't do a four-stop at Manningham.
Well, he pushed like mad for enough laps. So Jarl Tyan is taking the lead. Karani lagging. Looks like Karani will time out. He's already joined the spectators. So Tyan comes out of the lane with a 2.2 second lead over Stallo.
That was a massive deficit like 20 laps ago. Well, not even 20
About
laps
8
ago,
seconds.
10 laps ago.
It was 8 seconds before the pit stop Stallo made.
Stallo, I think, pitted on the end of either lap 46 or 47, so he made that up, or he made all of that up in 10 laps. 10 seconds and 10 laps.
Raymond Blauhoff currently in third. He has yet to pit.
World's slowest
He is
FOA
the
down the
only
back straight.
Gash off at the chicane. Keeps it straight. Carries on.
It's going to be very interesting how this is going to turn out at the front now. Just Stallo's tires, I think he is in heat peak at the moment, so he hasn't got the optimum amount of grip. Tyan even faster than him on that last lap by 0.4 of a second. So looks like he's got the upper hand at the moment.
2/10 up at the first intermediate on the lap. So it looks like the pattern is pretty well clear, barring a safety car as we come up to 19 laps remaining.
It depends. If it came now, Tyan would have the advantage because his tyres have not been through the heat cycle yet. They have not been past the peak and already in the phase of cooling down. And Stallo's tyres are definitely already in the middle of that. They are at the peak temperature now.
Kagash off on the outside of the turn 4-5 area. Gets it back on. It was Blauhoff, the final car to make the compulsory pit stop. Does so.
Seemingly gonna rejoin in 6th. Actually, no, it's gonna be a bit tighter than that. We're gonna have another battle on our hands.
Yep, he's just coming around the exit of the pit lane now. Right alongside Krampusch. Krampusch yields. So could have a battle there between Heisman and Blauhoff.
It's a sportsman-like thing to do, actually. That's the way I think that if you're properly working and properly considering everything happening around you, that's what you should do. Leave the other people to themselves, and Blauhoff spins! And immediately spins back around, so a nice 360 there. Well, more like a double 180, actually. He's back got some heat into his tyres.
Oh, he obviously meant to do that then.
I remember before the tyre warmers were introduced, which personally I think they never should have. But that's just my opinion. I remember MRT world records where people were doing 160s and 360s, 180s and 360s just to warm up their tyres because it's so hard to do an MRT. Time is, well, pulling away easily. Gaps up to 4.8 seconds. And there's a yellow flag ahead.
Kagash
so
again off at turn 4.
Oh, surely he's gonna know every way of spinning off on this track by the end of the race.
Exiting the chicane. Wheels down for him still.
Same for him, to be honest. Both of those are going to be expert on what not to do, experts on what not to do around here. That's right. Actually wonder whether the damper damage Aristotle has really upsets his car quite a lot. 'Cause he has a lot of it on the right rear damper, and from my experience, that is going to make the car incredibly unresponsible in left-handers, which the last corner here is one of, and that's a very important corner, and the chicane. And it's going to make it incredibly twitchy and snappy on the exit of right-handers, which there are a lot of here. Judging from his tires, it looks like he's having those problems because he's really putting a lot of heat into the left rear compared to the, well, pretty much all the other tires, except the right front maybe, which is looking like the second hottest tire, which would confirm my theory.
So, getting a little late into this race, as mentioned earlier, it is kind of a constant bit of action for the driver on a lap with all the turning and everything. Could fatigue play a little bit in here at this point of the race?
It depends. I think it's not going to happen to the drivers that are properly prepared, as I said. If you know what you're doing, you're just gonna, well, do lap after lap after lap, text, oh yeah, do this, and this corner, drive at 99%, and it's gonna be fine. For the drivers that maybe are a bit more prone to, well, pulling one at the end of a race, they might have a few more showings on the yellow flag register.
Pipelka takes a slow way through the chicane just to let some of the faster cars through.
It's a very unconventional way of doing it. Basically park on the runoff of the middle curb in the chicane. Dear God, talking about damper damage, Robin Heinemann's got more than plenty of it on his right rear damper. That thing is 75% done.
Lenny Mackey having a problem coming up the final corner. One of those classic getting a spin on.
Never ceases to happen. I think it's actually mandatory in every league's rulebook that someone has to do it in each race at BO1, no matter what the car.
Also, small tidbit, all cars that are running right now have now completed at least 75% race distance.
So should a piano fall on them, they're still gonna get points.
Ray Kingsbury, an interesting place to be off, clipping one of the curbs wrong, I presume, on the entry to the chicane. He waits for a big enough gap and he will rejoin, but he runs straight into the tires.
Oh my day. Oh, and Tyne actually comes through and clips one of the tires he hit onto the track. But he will be very thankful for that one, because that's the... Oh, dear, Telkula's off again. Ah, and it's another one of his spins. That makes it 3.
Yep. It is, in all honesty, kind of easy to do if you try to go just a little too tight into that final corner.
I think it's if you go too wide. I think, well, mostly from turning into early and not hitting the curb. If you hit the curb, usually you get so scared you completely lift off and expect the world to end, and well, can catch the car. But yeah, turning into early, running too wide, taking too much speed. That's certainly the cause of that.
Latin Mackie doing the same thing again. And he has dropped back a few positions.
Dropped back hugely from where he was at the start of the race. Wasn't he like in the top 4?
Yeah, and Kingsbury has spun into the runoff area. Carrying on again.
It's getting a bit ridiculous, if I'm honest. Starting to wonder whether he's just bored and throws the car into the scenery, expecting funny things to happen.
I'm sure Tyne would love him if he goes the safety car.
Even I'm watching him. I'm gonna love him if he does, because, well,
spice things up a little.
Yeah, no, it's not what I would call it. It's gonna. I think it would more be along the way of ruining the race for the few people who actually put preparation in.
Ray Kingsbury, another big off. I think we saw that.
We just keep the camera on him, because that's the only
Yes.
exciting thing that's happening. I'll just say that due to his 2 spins in the last lap, he did a lap time which is, I think, just about 1.5 seconds faster than the XRG world record. The XRG is slightly slower than this car.
Dead even lap times. Previous lap between Ilostalo and Tyne. I think I heard a report that Tyne might be slowing down just a little bit.
Yeah, well, certainly, because I don't know, I don't think he's slowing down. I think it's more Ilostalo speeding up because he's out of heat pick now. I think he's still got massive understeer on the left-handers. Judging from his front tires, he's really working those a lot harder than he did previously. And oh, Blau backs it into the wall.
Right in front of Tyne.
Textbook crash. Let's Ilostalo through. That's the way you should do it. Even if you're not required to, but it's the way you should do it. Breaking's us off again. Has he decided to actually do a single lap where he spends all of the lap on the track?
I'm not sure. Wasn't it this race last year where I think the Kingsburys took each other out? Matt and Ray took each other out on the way into the turn at the end of the back straight.
I really don't know. The only thing I remember is that thanks to Nathan Lamoff, I got the fastest lap last year in LFSCART when it was on B11. Ray Kings is back into the pits trying to mend his car, I presume. And no, yes he does. Wow, I'm almost
I
impressed
have
with that.
found a possible battle.
Oh my
Whereas
god,
we're
no
even
way.
off trying to close in on Nathan Lamont would be for 8th position. And Raymond Blauhoff not too far ahead of these two.
He's gonna have to slipstream easy. Lamoff not getting the best of exits there.
Lanny
Go
Mackey joining the
DRS.
spectators. So Crazy getting around the outside easily.
As that was, well, that's what you get when the slipstream effect is way too pronounced.
It is kind of akin to these cars having DRS in a way.
Yes, except that you also have the DRS in all the corners. But yeah, pretty much. I mean, cars like the UF1 give off a slipstream that's unbelievably effective, and I think it's not right, really. It's just not right.
Crazy 3/10 faster at the start-finish line and at split 1 than Raymond.
I think
just
we should get
about a
Blauhoff.
second. I think we could, yes, collect Kagash off
Bins in
at
the
final
last corner. No one's done that yet, did they?
And Ray Kingsbury getting it wrong on the way into the chicane. And Crazy, just half a lap, or half a second faster on that last lap, gap down to three quarters of a second.
We know that Blauhoff has absolutely nothing to defend himself with, other than maybe, I don't know, a stick down the straights.
4.5 laps to
go down the straights. I remember last year at B11 on the low wings we were pulling over 280 on some setups, and he's just about managing to do 270, so yeah, he's gonna be a sitting duck on the straights. Oh, and he gets the last part of the track all wrong, and Krasy's right on the rear wing of him. Gonna manage to go around the outside if he does it right. No, Blauhoff. Oh, Blauhoff braking too late. They're running wide and lagging into him almost.
And doing a bit of a quarter spin. So Crazy just powers around the outside. And Nathan should come on to get Raymond here shortly.
He is certainly very vulnerable. If you have low straight line speed, you're... Oh, and he's put the wheel off on the entry to the chicane. Ooh, and Lamoff almost
Nathan
hit
side
him.
by side over split 2 down to turn number 8. turn 7, excuse me. Now to
Gonna
turn
have
8,
to let
Lamoth
Lane
on
go.
the inside. Yep, he will. Tying with 3 laps and change to go. He's got a just over 5-second gap. Second place, in some lap traffic.
The gap's been relatively consistent over the past 10 laps.
Kingsbury off at the penultimate corner.
I don't think anyone's been off more than he has been. At least not in such weird places. He is a colossal 5 laps down.
2 laps to go. Tying around the outside of Dominik. I think Dominik should yield. He does so.
Tying runs. No, wait, I'm completely at the wrong end of the field. Tying running away with it, definitely, for the last few laps of the race.
Pipelka having a bit of strife coming up the hill to split 2. He'll keep it going the right way, if only a bit slow.
He hasn't got much left.
Could have a possible battle if things play out in the last lap between Ulrich and Vahakovas. But I think Ulrich not fast enough to close in, so we'll take a mistake. Tying now into the last lap. And Lamont causing a yellow flag. He's done a total spin coming out. He's going to do a reverse J-turn. Taking out the middle of the track. Luckily, he's got some clear gap.
Sure if I've ever seen anyone having to do a 3-point turn there to get back going.
Yeah.
Was he parked up against the wall?
I think he kind of was.
Well, that will explain it.
Tyan coming into the final sector now, the final lap of the race. Turn 7 for the final time. He just has one more corner to get right. And then up the hill and around the bend and to the checkered flag. Jarl Tyan takes a win in the second round of the 2013 LFSCART Series. Yostalo will come second. Coming to finish third will be Jesse Telkala. Telkala into the penultimate corner now. Pretty good quiet race from Telkala. Started second. He'll arrive third.
Well, he will wish he hadn't spun 3 times, because then he would probably be quite a bit higher up. In time. He lost a lot of time. He effectively didn't lose a position from it, because everyone else spun as well, but he will wish to not have spun 3 times, I reckon at least.
Pipelka looks to be the second to last car to finish. Zdenek Kagash, the last to finish. So Jarl Tyan is our winner. He'll come around to the start-finish line and pose for a podium picture for us here on stream. We definitely have Jarl Tyan that we can get in while I work on getting all the top 3 in here. We'll look at the finishing result. Jarl Tyen wins from R2 Ilostalo, Jesse Telko third, fourth Yanni Vahalkipus, fifth Torsten Ulrich, sixth Robin Heisman, Krasimir Ivanov seventh, eighth Raymond Blauhoff, Nathan Lamont ninth, 10th Jaroslav Danelik, 11th Ronnie Krampusch, Matthias Pipkla 12th, Ray Kingsbury 13th, 14th Zenenik Kagash, Tony Laddingmacki 15th, retired, Thomas Carani 16th, retired, and Harshan Singh, the first retiree, finishing 17th and last. So your reactions to the race, Dom?
A lot of spins.
User was moved to
and a
your
lot more
channel.
spread out
User
than
was
I
moved to your
expected
channel.
it to be, really. But well, I think at least the strategies at the pointy end made the race somewhat exciting. So yeah.
Alrighty, we have the top three in with us now. Congratulations, top three once again. Jarl Tyen, the winner, R2 Yustalo second, and Jesse Telkala third. We'll start with you, Jarl. Good race. How did you pull back that 8-second gap between the time that R2 pitted and you pitted?
Well, I had more fuel, and my plan was always to go 57 laps or 56. And running with low fuel with skinny tires is so much more effective than thick tires and fuel.
What were conditions like? Did you have any focus issues, or were you running the way you wanted? Did you encounter any issues or anything during the race?
No. I had problems with the setup. I didn't run the same setup as I did in practice because I accidentally changed the camber on it, and therefore had a lot of understeer in the right-handers. I had positive 0.7 left front, which made me understeer in all right-handers, and the heat pick was way higher than normally, and I lost a lot of time in the beginning of the stint. That's why the gap was 8 seconds at one point. But luckily, during my last 10 laps, I had a nice left front, and I managed to pull in the gap.
Alrighty, R2, congratulations on your second place. Good gap early on in the race. Tell us about your race.
I failed the pit stop pretty hard, and well, I lost the win because of that, and I'm pretty disappointed because I didn't win. Nothing special happened in the race. Thanks.
Yep, second from pole. Good showing in this race. Do you think you could have taken the win if maybe there was a safety car late in the race after Tyen had made his pits up? Do you think if there was a late race safety car, would you have possibly had a chance at the win?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, because Jarl was really fast, and well, I don't know. It would have been fun with race, but whatever. Second place is okay.
Alrighty, come back to you in just a second. Jesse, third place again. Third place in the first two rounds of the LFSCART 2013 season. You're probably the most consistent driver so far this season. You might have the championship lead after this round. How are you feeling? How are you feeling after this race? Did it go the way you wanted? Could you have done better?
Well, absolutely. I spun like 3 times, so I should have driven more constantly, but at least I managed to keep some good pace, so I'm happy with the third place, and I'm in good position considering about championship winning.
Alrighty, and you had some good battles early in the race with Laddingmacki and Tyen early on in the race. Did that really affect you, or were you expecting that? Did you enjoy that?
Well, I was expected that Jarl could fight me so well, but he did a good strategy. He was better today, so he deserves his victory. And so, yeah, I could have done better today, really.
Alrighty. Looking forward to the next round, Jarl, at West Hill. You're going to attend. If I do hope you attend. What are you looking forward to for next round, the rest of the season?
I'm not gonna attend to the next race now. Seeing as I'm still in military, I do not know when my next vacation is, but as soon as I do get a vacation, I'll probably do the round that is at that moment.
Alrighty, well, that is sorry to hear. But as long as you're hopefully you're enjoying your time in the military, doing your compulsory service. We'll conclude this bit of a press conference with the usual ask of some comments about the race in your native language, starting with Jarl.
Ja, det var ganske spennende løp. Startet nummer 3, fullførte nummer 1. Ikke noe alt for mye skjedde, bare bra strategi og fullførte først.
All right, thank you. R2 in your native language, please.
Joo, hävisin ton kisan varikkopysähdyksen takia, kun meni vähän vituksi toi varikkopysähdys. Ja joo, harmittaa kun en voittanut. Thanks.
Thank you, and Yessi.
Paska kuoli paskakisa, ei voi mitään. Kiitos Toni, Axel Falk, Ilari Juusela. Ja Isaac Price, you are still the most retarded people I have ever seen, and I hope you die soon.
All righty, well, thank you very much. It was good to talk with all three of you. Again, congratulations, top 3 winner. Jarl Tyan, R2 Ilostalo, and Yessi Telkala.
User was moved out of your channel. User was moved out of your channel. User was moved out of your channel.
So Dom, that is
Yes.
another round complete. All in all, pretty good, I'd say.
Certainly at the front it was. If I'm gonna be honest, I think there were maybe a few people who should have prepared a bit better for this race, even if it is the oldest and most used and most driven and most God knows what track in LFS. Shouldn't, especially in this car, take things for granted.
We've got Westall coming up. We know that that's a very flat out track. We've got, you need quite a lot of downforce, not much room for error or other issues at that track.
Not really, especially in the first 2/3 of it. You're gonna fly careering off into a wall as soon as you make an error. And the last part is gonna be a challenge to balance the power on the corner exits to get the best possible performance out of the car. So it's probably in that respect a lot harder than Blackwood. And yeah, I guess we're gonna see who's gonna be up on top there.
Alrighty, that next round in 2 weeks' time, June 1st. Same time, 18:35 UTC broadcast start. Should be right here again on simrace.tv stream 1. That'll be 49 laps at West Hill International. Once again, congratulations to Jarl Tyan on the win. Good race all around, safety car free. That's what we like. A lot of local yellows late in the race, but on the whole, a good mix of strategy and racing. I'd like to thank race director and LFSCART Series chairman Thilo Falkenberg, safety car driver Stuart Baker, rescue car and steward Jonathan Provost. Also like to thank simrace.tv for providing the streaming computer and solution. We have enjoyed having them. Problem-free this time. So nothing to complain about there. So once again, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time from West Hill Grand Prix. For Dominik Engel, I'm Jonathan Palmer. Once again, your winner, Jarl Tyen at the English Grand Prix. So long, everyone.